We all know that the aperture can affect how much of our image is in focus, but did you know that there are two other things that are just as important? Well, I'm going to tell you all about it in this episode. Hi everybody, welcome to this episode of Exploring Photography right here on Adorama TV. I'm Mark Wallace, coming to you from Istanbul, Turkey, and I'm in front of this giant ancient aqueduct, and we're going to use that aqueduct to show you how we can change our depth of field. That is how much of our image is totally in focus and where the image falls out of focus. And to do that, in addition to this aqueduct, we have a fantastic model. Her name is Nesli Avci, and she is sort of famous here in Turkey for your motorcycle incredible journeys. And yeah, anyway, check her out on Instagram. You can see her at Nesli_Avci. Here it is right there. And then you can see all of her adventures around the world. It's pretty cool. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the three things that impact our depth of field. Now, most of us know about the aperture. That's the adjustment on our lens from f2 to f16, etc. And we know that that impacts how much of our image is in focus. But there are two other things that will impact that as well. The length of our lens, otherwise known as the focal length, and the distance of our camera to our subject. So what we're going to do is we are going to start by talking about the aperture and how it really makes a huge impact. So Nesli, if you'll zip over to your spot, I'm going to get on my spot. And what we're going to do here is notice this background, this aqueduct that I'm shooting against. And the first thing I want to do is I want to make that out of focus. That's called shallow depth of field. And to do this, I'm going to set my aperture on my lens to the largest opening, and that is f1.4 on this lens. Now your lens might not go to 1.4, it might go to 2.8 or 3.4 or 5.6, but you want the smallest number for the largest opening. And so we're going to do that first. So if you'll look right at me, and I'll focus this up. I'm trying to get as much of the background as possible in this image. Here we go. Click. All right, so we can look at this image and you can clearly see that the background is out of focus, but Nesli is totally in focus. Now watch what happens. I'm going to change my ISO because I am also going to have to close my aperture. So I'm going from f1.4 all the way to f16. I'm closing down that aperture and I'm increasing my ISO so my shutter speed doesn't also go too slow and we get a blurry image. Okay, so the same spot. I'm going to focus here on Nesli's eyeballs. That's all done. And then we're going to take the same picture. And now you can clearly see that the aqueduct and everything behind her is in focus. Take a look at these images next to each other. So the first image, really nice, soft, out of focus background. The second image, well, everything is in focus, and that's not really pleasing in what we want. Well, so now we know that the aperture has an impact on our depth of field. But what about focal length? What happens when we change lenses? Well, we're going to do that next. So to do this, what I am going to do is I have a 21mm lens and on my camera a 50mm lens. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure that they're both set to f3.4. I'm not going to move from my place. Nesli's not going to move for her place. So we're going to shoot both pictures at the same exact distance. So aperture and distance stay the same. The only thing that's changing is the focal length. So we're going to start by setting our 50mm lens at f3.4. That's the widest aperture that my 21mm lens can shoot at. And we'll take our first picture. So look right here, exactly like that. Perfect. Oh, I love that. I love it. Okay, so we have our beautiful shot of Nesli. I'm going to take this 50mm lens off and replace it again with the 21mm lens. This is a much, much wider lens. Now what this is going to do is it's going to give us a much greater field of view, so we're going to see a lot more, but it's also going to change our depth of field. So that's what we're going to do now. So we have our lens set at f3.4. Now I'll make sure everything's good to go. It is. I'll make sure I focus, and okay, exceptional. I love it. Now we're going to take a shot of, oh my gosh, everything in the park. All right, you can see that this shot, you can see everything, and notice that background. The background is much more in focus than the shot we did with our 50mm lens. We'll show you those side by side. Here's the 50mm lens, here's the 21mm lens. You can clearly see that our focal length is making a big difference. Well, there's a third thing that impacts our depth of field, and that is the distance from our camera to our subject. And so to do this, I've changed my lens once again. I'm using a 35mm lens, and I'm going to shoot at f2. Now the only thing I'm going to do in this situation is I'm going to move closer and farther away from Nesli. So the very first image we're going to shoot, I'm going to get really, really close. In fact, as close as I can focus, and then I'm going to go farther away. So watch what happens to our background. So I'm going to come as close as I can get. This is about as close as my camera can focus right here. Yep, beautiful. We'll shoot that. Excellent. Oh, you look great. All right, now I'm going to go all the way back, oh, about right here. So I'm almost out of frame. I will refocus. This is exactly the same thing, the same exact aperture value, same lens. Now take a look at these two images. It's pretty crazy. The only thing I did is I got closer on that first image, and you can clearly see that that is a beautiful image with really nice soft background. And in the second image where I'm far away, well, everything's in focus. It doesn't look very good at all. And so getting a little bit closer with this lens wins. There you have it. 3 things that impact our depth of field: our aperture value, our focal length, and our distance from our subject. Now you can try this out yourself. Just go home, get a lens, put it on as wide of an aperture as it can go, take a picture of a beautiful model if you have one around, and then take your aperture, close it as small as it will go, take a few pictures, see how that changes your depth of field. Then start playing with different focal lengths. If you don't have multiple lenses and you have a zoom lens, the same thing is true. You can zoom in and zoom out and see how that changes your depth of field. And then also get close and get farther away and see what that does to your images. And I think you'll be surprised. You can try it all out, and with a little bit of practice, you'll just know in your mind which lens at which aperture value at what distance does what, and you'll start picking your favorites. Well, thank you, Nesli, so much for joining us today. You've been a really fantastic model. And don't forget to follow her on Instagram and follow me on Instagram. Here is my Instagram link right here. You can check out all the behind the scenes from my video shoots and travels around the world. And also make sure you check out the Adorama Learning Center. And also don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right now and turn on the bell. All right, thanks for joining us. I'll see you again next time.